guys? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Tania Bright. I am a student astrologer and a tarot reader. And in today's video, we are going to be doing your May 2020 month ahead readings, and we're also going to be talking a little bit about some astrological events going on in the month of May. If you've already seen this part of the video, go ahead and fast forward to your tarot reading. I will be linking a timestamp down below or on the screen somewhere in case you want to fast forward to it. My tarot readings are always timeless, and this one is going to resonate with your sun, moon, rising, or Venus. A lot of you ask, which placement do I watch for? Watch for all 4 placements, and whatever readings resonates, will resonate, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So quick disclaimer before I get into the astrology portion, I am still a student when it comes into astrology. I am in no way, shape, or form trying to teach. I am simply just going to mention and broadly talk about these events just so you know what's going on this month, and if you want to look further into it, then you can. But for month ahead readings, I feel like it's really important that we talk about what is going on astrologically. So by the middle of May, we are going to have 4 planets going retrograde. We already have Pluto going retrograde. That started April 24th. And then the next planet to go retrograde, I believe, is Saturn. Let me double check. Okay, and then the next planet we're going to have retrograde is Saturn. It's going retrograde in Capricorn on May 11th. Soon after that, we're going to have Venus going retrograde in Gemini May 13th. And then literally the next day, we're going to have Jupiter going retrograde in Capricorn May 14th. So lots of retrogrades going on. We also have the super moon on the 7th in Scorpio, and that is going to be a big, intense energy. So what retrogrades do is it forces us to look inward. Retrogrades are a period of reflection, perfecting things, reviewing things. So I feel like this month is really going to be about solidifying ourselves and starting to sort of settle into our own energies. I feel like, April and all of the previous months, we were going through purges, we were going through transformations, we were losing a lot, gaining a lot. We were going through major pivot points. And now I think it's kind of time to reflect on everything we've gone through, everything we've learned. I feel like we're coming into Taurus season with more of a knowing, an inner knowing, knowing what we want, knowing what we don't want, knowing what we have, knowing what we don't have. And we didn't have that pleasure in April or any of the previous months. So that's what kind of gives this season a step up, is we've learned so much. So let's talk about the Venus in Gemini retrograde. That one is super notorious because it's also being squared it is also being squared Neptune in Pisces. So then you have Venus, the planet of values, beauty, creation. It's about romance, pleasure, partnerships, art. And that energy is being flavored by Gemini. Gemini is also very social and playful. It's the planet of intellectual, logical thinking. It's a planet of communication, both written, verbal, however we want to communicate. It's also the sign of duality. It's the sign of socials. It kind of rules social media along with Aquarius. I like to say Gemini rules it too as well. So what I think this combination of energies is going to do is with Gemini here, it's going to allow us to communicate, to vocalize what we're thinking and feeling, which we struggled with as a collective. I feel like a lot of us were struggling with throat chakra, and this Gemini energy really comes in and uplifts that struggle. So I feel like a lot of us are going to, since Venus is going retrograde, we're going to be having honest internal conversations with ourselves about what we truly do value, how we look at ourselves and how much we value ourselves and other people, and kind of what is the pecking order, what is the list of importance, in terms of the people around us, the materials we have, ourselves. I feel like we're really going to start to file that and categorize that and figure out what's important to us and what's not. Venus also rules desires, so I feel like a lot of us are going to uncover what it is that we truly desire out of life, and we're going to have sort of an honest conversation with ourselves about whether or not we are on track to getting that, to making that happen? You know, are we actually doing what we love, or are we, you know, doing something because of the money? Are we doing something because of, you know, material gains? Which I'm noticing with the energy, money and the value of it is kind of like decreasing a little. Like, you know, we're not spending as much as we used to because we're not going out anymore. We're starting to save a lot more. Like, I feel like money is starting to become less of like a luxury thing, because to some extent with quarantine, a lot of like our luxuries, especially when going out, you know, got taken away from us. So I feel like the value of money, you know, we were sort of, and I was talking about this in my previous video, we were in a position where we wanted more and more and more, and ever since quarantine happened, we're kind of like just okay with what we need. And I feel like that still rings true throughout the month of May. And for most of May, we are going to be in Taurus season, and Taurus also deals with finances and material gains and losses. So I still see some of us going to struggle with that. I still see some of us are going to, you know, be dealing with money loss, or just changing maybe how we make our money. I can see that being a theme throughout the month of May. Now, Venus is also the planet of creativity, and Gemini is the planet of, Gemini is the sign of, you know, handiwork, doing things with our hands. It's also a creative energy as well. It's highly, highly creative, very, very intelligent. So I feel like a lot of us are going to get crafty, get smart about our resources, get creative about, you know, our money, and really learning how to use that to its utmost value. Maybe even get creative on ways to bring in more income. I see a lot of us maybe even diving into hobbies more, because Gemini rules hobbies. So I see a lot of us diving into our hobbies and learning how to profit off them, learning how to make money off them. So I see, you know, artists, you know, learning how to sell their art, promote their art, you know, getting smart when it comes to that, because Gemini is also a salesman. It's salesman energy. Like, Gemini knows how to talk you into whatever it wants. So another aspect that definitely plays into like sort of money and finances is the Jupiter and Pluto conjunction. We have Jupiter, which rules expansion, but we have Pluto, which rules debt. So when you put those combinations together, we can kind of see like maybe global debts, or people sort of like getting in trouble for their debts. I would handle your financial situation as much as possible this month. I would really try to knock those out. Now, another thing I think is super interesting is there's sort of like this spiritual aspect to the Jupiter and Pluto conjunction, because Jupiter rules, you know, higher knowledge, higher wisdom, gurus, teachers, spirituality, and we have Pluto, which is wanting to know more, wanting to dig deeper. So I see there is a spiritual awakening sort of going on with the collective. I see a lot more people getting into tarot and astrology. And I also feel like because quarantine happened and our world sort of it shook up a bit, and it drastically changed so fast, people turned to spirituality for answers, because there really is an energy of like power to the people here. We have like a lot of Gemini and Aquarius energy going on here, and like I said, those signs rule the internet. So I feel that there's a lot of power here with the internet. There's a lot of power here when you make a YouTube video or you post a tarot card reading or whatever. You reach a lot of people, you influence a lot of people. And I feel like if you are going to be an influencer or a guru or a teacher or astrologer, tarot reader, whatever you want to call yourself, if you're going to be doing that, I feel like it's important that we spread a message that is optimistic. I feel like it's important that we spread the message of, you know, raising the like vibrational energy here as a collective. There's a YouTuber who, I think her name's like Pam Gregory or something like that. I'll leave her YouTube link down below, but she has a book where she talks about how you can actually measure someone's thoughts. All right, so that's what like the idea of manifestation is that, you know, what we are internalizing and thinking, you know, we can actually project out. Now with quarantine, we have a lot of us sort of like being, you know, in close like proximity to a lot of other people, so we're very much affected by their energy and they're very much affected by ours. So I feel like it's really important that we're having like a sense of awareness of what we are projecting out. Be aware of the energies you put out, and so that way we can work better as a collective and we can try to raise ourselves as a collective, because there is also this energy of like a blank canvas here, and that energy has been there since the beginning of the year when we had all of those time resets. We're sort of like in a position right now where we're creating like a whole new like era almost, you know what I mean? We have a lot of like social structures and government structures crashing right now, and when something crashes, you know, we have to rebuild. Tower moment in tarot, when it crashes, you got to rebuild a stronger, firmer foundation. So I almost feel like the collective is going through like their own major tower moment. I see 2020 as like this giant tower moment, but I'm not gonna get too into that, okay? I'm gonna keep it very broad and general, because then this video would be hours long. Alright, so let's talk about the supermoon in Scorpio. So full moons and supermoons, they have this energy of like endings, completion, because it's the moon cycle completing itself. So it's this energy of, you know, closing those doors, laying things to rest, but it can also have the energy of like shedding light on situations we might not know about, because the moon sheds light on darkness. So when we have a supermoon, it means that the moon is closer to Earth in proximity and it becomes really big, and that means its energy can be felt more, its energy is a lot more amplified. But when we have a supermoon in a water sign, more specifically Scorpio, that energy is extra emotional and intense, because Scorpio is a sign of intensity. So with this supermoon, I see a lot of secrets sort of coming up to surface, because Scorpio rules like hidden areas of life. So this, you know, this might not have to be like a scandalous secret, but it could be like secrets within the self, parts of ourselves that we didn't really know, or parts of ourselves that were kind of like taboo, you know, we start to recognize with this supermoon energy. Now supermoons also have to be about release, so whatever surfaces, we need to let go, all right? Because then we start the new moon cycle, and we want to be starting fresh. We want to handle the problems that actually come to light during the supermoon. I see issues of trust here as well, because Scorpio energy always struggles with trust and loyalty and betrayal. Those are major themes for Scorpio energy. So I see a lot of us sort of dealing with who we trust and who trusts us, and you know, can I rely on this person? Can I not rely on this person? Is this person loyal to me? Am I loyal to them? I can see us having that conversation during the supermoon. Now, another thing that Pam Gregory talks about is how Scorpio's ancient ruler is Mars, okay? So Scorpio energy does not flinch. It's very similar to Aries energy, where it's like, I need to make this happen. The thing that the supermoon might give us is hyper focus, because Scorpio has the ability to literally focus all of its energy on its goal and be so diligent and so fixated on its goal that it will not give up, it will not release until it has completed it. So I feel like a lot of us are going to have drive. A lot of us are going to, you know, want to make a plan, want to get things done, and I really love that, you know, as it goes hand in hand with like people starting up new businesses and people diving into their creative hobbies. So I kind of like that energy for the month of May. So the last thing I also want to talk about is Venus being squared Neptune in Pisces. So it's interesting because it's also in Gemini. Gemini is the energy of logical thinking, of knowing, and then we have it squared Neptune, which is and Pisces, which is the energy of like delusion, imagination, the spirit world. Think like 12th house energy, where it's like the part in the brain that's so deep in the subconscious that it's hard to bring it forward. So I feel like with these two energies, we're going to sort of go through this period. It's like where we know, and we understand it, and then we don't know, and we don't understand it. And especially when Venus is in retrograde, I feel like we're going to struggle a lot with what is true. I almost see like the Venus energy is like a plane going through a cloud, and it's like when it's, you know, in this cloud and it's especially squared Neptune, it's like clouded energy we can't see. We can't fully understand. It's like I can't see the big picture. And then as soon as it ends and it exits the cloud, then it's like boom, awakening moment, oh, epiphany moment, oh, I finally understand. I see us sort of going back and forth with those energies like throughout the retrograde. I see us sort of like having this understanding, thinking that we get it, and then not freaking getting it at all, and then having epiphanies, and then understanding a little bit more, only to find out the more we know, the less we know type energy. That's kind of what I pick up on. Astrologers like to say this is not the time to make major changes, major decisions, and that's because you don't want to make a decision when you're on a plane in a cloud, you know what I mean? You don't want to make a decision when you don't have all of the information. You don't want to make a decision when you aren't seeing the full bigger picture yet. And of course, that's not to say you can't, you know, make that move, or you can't, you know, make that big change. I think it's just, I think the message here is more about just being cautious and making sure that you are doing any type of research, any type of investigative work needed in order to properly make that decision. So the last theme that I want to mention is the theme of heart chakra. There's this YouTuber that I absolutely adore, and I love to watch his YouTube channel, Esoteric Healing. He did a video about healing throughout May and how we've sort of moved from like heart chakra from throat chakra down to heart chakra, and now the collective is sort of struggling with that. So there could be feelings of like anxieties, sadness, like heavy just feelings in the heart chakra right now. And when the heart chakra is affected, Sky was talking about how our crown chakra, our thoughts also get affected. The two go hand in hand, heart, feelings, and thoughts, right? So I feel what's important here is as our heart and our feelings are going through these waves of ups and downs, that we take care of the heart chakra. We keep our mind strong and leveled. It's really, really important that you do that, otherwise you might get lost in like all of the ups and downs and the chaotic energy that's going on within your feelings. When dealing with, you know, all these emotions, I really recommend capitalizing on all that Gemini energy that we have, especially that Venus energy, sort of like turn that pain into art. Write it out. You can write poetry, write stories, write whatever, but Gemini rules like written communication, so write out how you feel. I also see a lot of us speaking publicly on how we feel, and I see that being very therapeutic, not only to, you know, yourself for releasing it, but also to other people for hearing it. Because Gemini isn't just about talking, it's about listening as well. Talking about things publicly really just brings us together a bit as a collective, and it helps us connect a bit more. I see a huge, just like, how do I say this? Like I'm seeing in my head, like I see a huge like spike almost in internet connections and socializing on the internet, and that being a lot more acceptable, especially because of quarantine. It's kind of the only way we can socialize, but I see that staying true for many years to come after this. Alright, that's kind of all I have to say. Like I said, I wanted to keep it super broad. If you want to dive into any of these events, I will be listing them in the description box down below. Let's go ahead and just jump right into the tarot portion of this video. What's up, Taurus, and welcome to your May 2020 tarot reading. So we're going to be pulling some oracle cards for you, some tarot cards for the week to week, and then some confirmation cards at the end. But we are also going to be pulling an extra card to see what gift you are going to get for the month of May, because as you know, Venus likes to gift people. So, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, if that is you, then you are watching the right video. Specifically, my Taurus risings, you guys have Gemini in your second house, meaning that is where Venus is going to go retrograde for you. So second house is a house of gains, work, finances, possessions, luxuries, passed down like material gains as well. It's also the house of food. Venus loves to be here because it's in her home sign Taurus, one of her home signs. I see you guys really, first of all, I see your voice and your speech being affected here. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to feel the need to like communicate, to release through communication. So talking through your relationships is going to be really big for you. Communicating how you feel is going to be really big for you. Vulnerability, I cannot say that word, my lord. Vulnerability is going to be also like your power this month. Like, I feel like if you are vulnerable with yourself, then you're going to know what it is you need to voice. Does that make sense? Do you see how they kind of go hand in hand here? So vulnerability and speaking your truth is like going to be what empowers you this month, Taurus risings. I see like this is not the time to make really big and crazy career jumps just because retrograde. Like, you just, I wouldn't, that's not to say like you can't. I would just be really cautious. You know, I would just be really cautious. Make sure that you're really sure about that career jump. Don't impulsively do anything. I see you guys also struggling maybe a bit, not really struggling, but maybe reflecting is a better word, on like early childhood and family members and like that type of emotion. I can see that kind of coming in here. That's just like an intuitive thing. I think you guys also have to be careful not to spend a lot because, you know, Taurus second house has to do with spending and finances and luxuries. So just be careful not to like spend big money. Like, this is not like the month to buy a car. This is not like the month to, you know, buy that new like desktop. Like, I would just kind of hold off on that and maybe be more on the saving side this month, which you guys tend to be really good at. I feel like Taurus tends to be good with their money, so I'm not too worried. I can see you guys overindulging easily, so just be careful with that as well. And no cosmetic changes. Like, that is just across the board for everybody. Astrologers like to say, again, this is not the time to be doing big changes to your appearance, okay? And that's kind of all I want to say before I get into the tarot reading. So let's go ahead and pull some oracle cards. Move my crystals over. So oracle cards are going to tell us what energies are surrounding you, what themes you might be dealing with this month, what energies might be helping or hindering you. Kind of just gives us like a sense of what's ahead for you, and then tarot kind of gets into that nitty-gritty, all right? So let's see. Taurus, the energy is very, I know I said this in the beginning, but it's very like focused on the heart and the throat. Like, those two need to correlate. Those two need to be on the same page. I'm already picking up on that intuitively. My heart is like a little tight right now. My chest is a little tight right now. I think you guys might be longing too for like love in such a way. Because like, you know, Venus deals with relationships and Taurus, you know, deals with luxuries. And love is a luxury. And I feel like that is going to be something that you guys are really craving. And as I say that, emotional loss comes out. So Taurus, just be careful. I can also see like exes coming back and like to say hi to you this month. That's for everybody though with the retrograde, but because I'm picking up that you guys are maybe a little more susceptible, I guess, to taking an ex back, just make sure that's really the right choice for you. I feel need to intuitively say that to certain Tauruses. But first card we have is Authority. Then we're gonna have Triumph. I love that for you, Taurus. Emotional Loss, which I think has already happened. Triumphant Success. Love that. Triumph is here twice. Base Chakra. Ooh, I can see that for Taurus as well. Material and Spiritual Prosperity. Not a surprise with that, you know, retrograde going on. And Memories of Love. I told you guys you would be kind of like missing like love right now, that feeling of love. Let me just pull one more. I just want it to be an even amount. There's your one. Okay. We have the waiting game. All right, Taurus. So I see, first of all, this triumph and success and authority really having to do with what I said about your heart chakra and your throat chakra and your base chakra needing to be on the same page, and you guys needing to be vulnerable and in your truth and understanding what your truth is. I feel like you guys are going to be really good at that. Like, I think you guys have kind of been in the dark or a little bit clouded in that sense, and I think this month, it might be confusing, but I think you work through it. You get your epiphanies. This authority card really sticks out to me, Taurus. I feel like this is authority in a sense of like in a sense of relationships and what it is you are willing to put up with and setting those boundaries. Like, that's what I see this authority card is. Like, you guys kind of like it makes me think of like the Emperor card. So you guys sort of like setting those strict boundaries and understanding what it is you need to do in order to protect yourself emotionally, because that heart chakra is so sensitive right now. I see triumph and triumphant success and material prosperity. I see you guys are going to have maybe the opportunity to really expand career-wise this month or find ways to bring in more money. If you guys are smart and you guys are trusting your gut. I feel like this more so has to do with you guys perfecting what it is you're already doing rather than trying out crazy new business stuff. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like the success comes from the work you've already put in and you guys just perfecting that. This emotional loss, I feel like, is old. For a lot of you, I feel like it's a relationship. For a lot of you, I feel like it was a life. Like, you didn't just lose a person, you literally lost an entire way you used to live. Like, I can see, I'm picking up that, like, a lot of you got out of relationships and that switched up your life. Or a lot of you, like, just had tower moments after tower moments, and now you're in a position where you're kind of on this new path, still learning about you, still learning about who you can trust, still learning, like, still healing from all of the loss and all the tower moments as well. So I feel like you guys gotta be patient with yourselves in that sense. Be patient with yourselves in relationships. Communicate, like I said, especially if like you're forming connections with new people. Communicate with them and let them know, you know, hey, this is where I'm at in regards to this relationship, and it's gonna take me a while to get to this, place that you want to be in and to trust you that much. I see trust being a huge thing for Taurus. I feel like you guys are really going to, how do I say this? Like, I feel like you guys are really going to sort of be in your head about who you can trust. It's almost like a level of paranoia because we're kind of like, still healing like past wounds. And so because of those wounds, like, it's a little bit difficult to trust people right now. But I feel, Taurus, a lot of you have new people in your lives that you can trust, okay? This waiting game, I feel like this is like more about timing. Like, I feel like timing is going to be important for you. When you do this or when you say this, like yada 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 and so on. Like, timing is going to be a thing here for you guys. And I think you guys are going to sort of intuitively know when it's the right time to do or say something. All right, let's go ahead and get into the week to week for you, Taurus. All right, so I have my tarot cards here. They're all in the upright position. So I'm just going to give them, look at that, Emperor's here. So I'm just going to give them a good shuffle. Just getting them acclimated to your energy. I'm getting intuitively the message to Taurus that some of you, this is more so for like, Tauruses who are still healing. I feel like some of you need to re-examine your approach to love. Re-examine your approach to love, because I think some of you, this isn't for everybody, but some of you kind of have an approach that's, it's like too much of a game. It's too much of a game. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the week to week. First week for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Seven of Swords. Oh my goodness, Seven of Swords. Okay, so let's keep these two together since they fell together. I'm just going to pull out the whole spread, and then we'll go ahead and get into the week to week. Okay, so 7 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles, okay, and 6 of Pentacles, Temperance. Third week, ooh, we have Ace of Swords. Lots of aces, lots of new ideas, new beginnings. All right, let's see what that Ace of Swords is being rated down by. Okay, so this is your last week. What's our last card here? Okay, here's our last card. 3 of Pentacles, so many Pentacles. Bottom deck, 6 of Cups. All right, let's just see, Page of Pentacles. All right. So, give me a second just to like kind of channel this, and then we'll get into your week to week. Also, just want to make sure that. All right. So, Taurus, let's talk about that first week. 7 of Swords with the Ace of Pentacles. I feel 2 different messages here. The first message is that 7 of Swords is old news. It's an old betrayal. It's an old snake. It's an old, like, person who, you know, just didn't have the right intentions with you. And I feel like that was the emotional loss. They might return to you that first week of May. Like, they might hit you up, maybe trying to offer you something. Like, I see this Ace of Pentacles as like them offering like an idea, or them offering like an ultimatum to like fix things, or them wanting to like maybe start like a business plan with you, something like that. Like they're gonna come to you with like almost like a gift. And I'm going to pull clarification on that to see if you should take it. Actually, let's just pull clarification on it now, see if you should take it. Ace of Pentacles, ooh. 7 of Pentacles for that confirmation. Well, 7 of Pentacles means you guys are going to feel a little bit tired of it, like tired by the situation, a little bit. 7 of Pentacles reminds me of like you guys working hard for something and feeling like you're not getting the reward. So I feel like this is where you're at right now, and the snaky person sees it and they're going to try to come in and save the day. So I'm going to take that as like a no. No, don't accept it. But anyways, the second message I'm getting is that with the 7 of Swords energy, some of you, I think, are working with people right now who are like snaky, who have ill intent. So I don't know if this is like a business partner, or if this is like a client or something along those lines. I'm really picking up on that client word. But like someone's just gonna be like kind of scammy, you know what I mean? Just kind of scammy. So be wary of that, Taurus. So that's going on the first week. And I told you, you know, Venus deals with losses and gains. And you have it in your second house of finances. So be careful of who you work with that first week, or who you decide to work with. I want to just pull another card because that first week carries a lot of energy. So I just want to... No, we'll wait till the end. We're going to wait till the end, and then I just want to pull another card to see what else comes out. But let's talk about the second week. We have 6 of Pentacles with Temperance. So I feel like you guys are going to be dealing with exchange of energies, exchange of goods, exchange of your time, exchange of anything. I feel like you guys are going to be dealing with whether or not you are getting what you put out, if there's, you know, enough reciprocation. And I feel like it's going to be kind of testing you, or not testing you in particular, but it tests who, you know, is really there for you, who's really trying to ride for you, who really is supporting you. You're going to be able to see that based on reciprocation. You're going to be able to see that based on how people, you know, treat you. And Taurus, I'm getting a sense too that like a lot of people are jealous. Like a lot of people see that you're, you know, doing good, and that's what makes them kind of like have this ill intent. I see that it's subconscious for a lot of people. Like, it's not like forward ill intent, I'm wishing you bad. It's just kind of like subconscious, kind of like jealousy. And you'll be able to pick up on that second week on who is like that and who isn't. You guys are going to have to temper your emotions as you do, okay? Because I feel like it is going to be emotional. I feel like you're going to find out that people you really care about are, you know, snaky and kind of like preying on your downfall, okay? But I don't think it's like your time to start drama. I think it is your time to say how you feel. And like I said, you know, being vulnerable and communicating is going to be your power. So I feel like that's good. But, you know, come at it in a way where you're simply just trying to communicate and trying to work through things and trying to be honest. Don't come at it in a way where it's like fighting words, okay? Ace of Swords with 3 of Pentacles, your third week, makes me really happy for you. What I see, Taurus, is that you guys really kind of like take any adversities, take anything that's like negative, and you find a way to turn into a positive. And people recognize that about you. And that type of recognition really makes people like respect you, Taurus. And I feel like you guys are also going to capitalize on like any type of like money that you have. Like, you're going to use it to its utmost value, and people are going to recognize that too and respect you for it. I see you guys finding a team, Taurus. Like, even though you first week, you know, it shows you who you can't work with. You know, 3 of Pentacles is about collaborations. It's about teamwork. It's about networking. And I see you guys getting really good at that the third week. And I see you guys really making important connections as well. Because Ace of Swords is about triumph. So I feel like you guys learn from that first week. You guys learn about exchange the second week. And then third week, we put that into practice. You know, whether that be on a business standpoint, a relationship standpoint, life standpoint, but you guys just learn. So that's the process. It's seeing who's there and who's not, learning about what a proper exchange is, and then making it happen the third week. My bad, Taurus, I got a phone call. So then we have Page of Wands with 5 of Pentacles. Taurus, I see this as like you guys need to also not have like your stick in the mud. Like, you guys have to work and listen to the people you're collaborating with. Like, kind of like working well in a team, because Taurus can sometimes be quite stubborn and can sometimes think they're, you know, right and not really like listen to other people. That's not every Taurus, but it's a trait of Taurus, you know, is stubbornness. And stereotypically, just throwing it out there, not every sort of Taurus is going to be stubborn, but I see with the Page of Wands that it's really important that you guys aren't fixated on what it is you want. I feel like there is a reason for the team. There is a reason why the universe is, you know, trying to teach you about collaboration, trying to teach you about exchange. It's going to come into play. So I feel like it's really important that you guys kind of keep that Page of Swords energy, or it makes you think of, Page of Pentacles energy, which I think is this. Yep, you had Page of Pentacles energy on the bottom deck right after 6 of Cups. I feel like it's important that you guys keep that thirst for knowledge, keep that thirst for learning from the people around you, and I feel like that is really going to help you guys the month after, because 5 of Pentacles means like if you guys are too fixated on what it is you want, you guys miss an opportunity. Like, you will miss an opportunity. So just work, how do I say this? Just like keep an open mind. You don't have to listen to people, but by the third week, you guys know who you should listen to and who you shouldn't. By the third week, you guys will know who you should trust and who you shouldn't. And I feel like this 4th week is about you actually putting your trust into the people that you deemed worthy of it, because I told you guys were going to struggle a bit with trust. And I feel like it's coming from a standpoint of like you guys just being protective over yourselves and everything you worked for, more so than like it being the other person. It's more so like a defense. you gotta let that down, because you really get showed who you can and can't trust in the beginning of the month. So don't let that give you like PTSD. Let it like let it be a tool, you know what I mean? Let it be a tool that you use later, because I really feel as though this network that you build comes into play the following month. And there's something to learn from this network. This is like a very like sacred union I'm picking up on within multiple people. I see it being like at least more than 3 people. We have 3 of Pentacles, so it's not like a 2 of Cups. This is multiple people. This is a team that you get. I also think, Taurus, it's really important that you guys are like original in what you do, because 3 of Pentacles can also represent like being watched. Not watched in like a creepy way, but like people notice, you know, what you do. So I think it's really important that you guys keep original. Keep your own ideas, because you can get clocked by the team as well for like stealing ideas. So that's just like a message I wanted to put out for other Tauruses. But let's get clarification on that 7 of Swords. 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, do not trust them. Do not trust them, because 8 of Pentacles, when it's upright, means we are working diligently and we are focused. When it's in reverse, not focused. So I would not trust any type of offer that comes the first week from like old sneaky people. Okay, I see it as like old friends that don't even know they did you wrong, or don't even realize that they did you wrong, or old relationships or business partners or whatever trying to come back. Like they don't even know. And that is like the most dangerous part about it. So I would not take it. Let's go ahead and get some confirmation in here, and then we'll pull your gift and see what your gift is. Oh, that card just fell. Taurus, I want you another thing that like pops up in my head, another message is that it's safe. Like by the 3rd week, you know who it is that you can like fuck with, and like the universe wants you to know like it's safe. It's safe. And I feel like that's like going to be your biggest thing, is feeling safe. Like around people, just because like the PTSD from like old relationships lingers heavily with Taurus. So we have the end of a tough cycle begins, full moon in Capricorn. Your dreams need a practical plan, full moon in Taurus. Love that for you guys. And conclusions are in reach, full moon eclipse. Okay. I love that card, that your dreams need a practical plan, because Taurus, I feel like if you have a plan to follow, like it comes to fruition. It's almost like your plan is a form of manifestation this month. So give yourself a plan for the month. The end of a tough cycle approaches. I feel like this is the end of your throat chakra issues and your issues with people you can't trust. I feel like that comes to an end, Taurus. I feel like you find who you can trust this month. Conclusions are within reach. I feel like that means like closure. Like you finally close all the doors this month, and once you do that, it's like officially like you're on this new journey. You're on this new wave. Okay, let's go ahead and see what gift Venus is going to bring you. I just want to give them a bit of a shuffle. All right. What gift is Venus bringing for us? Ooh. That fell on the floor. Taurus. Oh my God. 7 of Swords in reverse. 7 of Swords in reverse. The gift that Venus is going to bring you is that you're going to see your hidden enemies. The gift that Venus brings you is that you're going to see them snakes, Taurus. You're going to see, I told you, like, it, and, like, I feel like that is something that is relieving, because I feel like you guys know there's snakes around you, but you can't quite pinpoint them. The gift Venus brings is it's going to be obvious. You are going to know. You are going, like, I don't think it's going to be like undoubtable who it is you can and can't trust. I love that the 7 of Swords came out in reverse, though. It's kind of like, you guys get like your apologies, I feel like, as well. Like if anyone did you wrong, I feel like you get apologies. And I feel like you guys, because you guys can identify the snakes, you guys can move accordingly, and that's a gift all on its own. So yeah, Taurus, that's it for your reading. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below if you're a Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, and if this resonated with you. The next time you see me, I'm probably going to be posting my love readings. So subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn my bell on so you know when I post videos. And yeah, thanks for watching.